Hello, everyone. Since April 1st, 2024, some self-petitioners that submitted Form I-140 for their EB2 NIW or the EB1A category, exceptional ability or the extraordinary ability, respectively, have seen their forms or application returned to them on the basis of rejection, on the fact that some parts are not filled correctly, some parts not completed, or on the basis of incomplete fees. And so today, the focus of this video is to show you some of these instances that caused this rejection. And so our aim today is on how do you avoid this I-140 rejection or delay. Have you subscribed to Prof. Dan Tutorials? If you have not, please do subscribe, like, share, and make a comment. The goal is for this to serve as an educational purpose to enlighten many persons who are trying to file for their EB2 NIW or the EB1A as self-petitioners. All right, let's get started. So I will quickly take you through the Form I-140, but in this case, I will only touch on some parts that has caused people's application rejected. If you need the full guidance on how to fill the Form I-140, there is a video on the Prof. Dan Tutorials playlist on how to fill the Form I-140. We have both the last edition and the latest edition. So the very first thing I want to draw your attention to is on the Form I-140. This is a very significant part of your self-petitioning. Please do ensure that on the right top corner, you would see expires 02/28/2026, written as month, day, and year. So this is February 28, 2026. This is the latest form edition of 140 that you should use. And if you scroll down at the bottom of each of the page, from page 1 to page 7, you would see Form I-140 edition April, that is 04/01, day 01, year 2024. So first and foremost, ensure you are filling the right form. If you use the previous edition, your form will be rejected. The next thing we're going to look at is an addition to this latest form that was not in the previous form, and that is part 1, as you can see on the screen. Part 1, question 5 and 6. This has also brought about confusion to some self-petitioners not knowing which to choose. And from some applications that have been rejected, it's on this basis. So let's take a look at this and how to avoid such. Question 4 says IRS employer identification number. This doesn't apply to you. These are for employers who are filing EB2 for their employees. Remember, yours is the subcategory of NIW, which is EB2 or E21 NIW. So you do not need an employer identification number. So I could put here, not applicable. The main thing I want to show you here is question 5 and 6. Question 5 says, are you a non-profit organized as tax-exempt or a governmental research organization? As a self-petitioner of the EB2 NIW or the EB1A category, you are not a non-profit. Therefore, you select no. Question 6, which is a very tricky one. In context, looking at this question, a self-petitioner would select no. However, that is not correct and is backed up by evidence from a credible source, USCIS page. The question 6 says, do you currently employ a total of 25 or fewer full-time equivalent employees in the United States? For employers that are filing for their employee under the EB2 category, if they employ 25 or more or 25 or fewer, then they can select this. For a self-petitioner, you would say, perhaps you do not employ anyone, that's why you're a self-petitioner, so the correct answer to this is no. However, remember that this is under the employment base. So it is assumed that even as a self-petitioner, you do employ 0 employees, something like that. So since it says 25 or fewer, fewer than 25 could be 24, could be 1, and could be 0. So you are classified under a small employer, even as a self-petitioner. And again, it doesn't make sense based on the context of the sentence, but it's not about that. It's about what is USCIS saying, or what do they want. Take a look quickly, as I have shown you in one of my previous video, at a comment here. This, as you see on the screen, is from a frequently asked question from the USCIS webpage, and you can see the source at the bottom. And let's look at what it says. The second sentence specifically. On Form I-140, such self-petitioners must select yes in Part 1, Question 6, to indicate that they currently employ a total of 25 or fewer full-time employees. Such self-petitioners, there are only 2 categories of self-petitioners for the employment-based 1 to 5 category, and those are the employment-based second preference EB2 national interest waiver, or the employment-based first preference extraordinary ability, which is the EB1A. So in either of these, as a self-petitioner, it has been directed from the USCIS website that you should select yes for that question on your form I-140. Question 6, as a self-petitioner, you select yes. Some left this blank and their application were returned to them as rejected, and they have to fill it again. So please avoid this mistake. So that's the first thing I want to draw your attention to. The next one is part 2, question 1A to 1H. In part 2, some person's application have been rejected because they selected 2 from 1A to 1H, 2 options, whereas you have to select only 1. Or another person's application that was rejected was the person was doing filing for the NIW and the person selected 1D. And there was another person that selected 1E. Please be very careful. As a self-petitioner, which one should you select? If you are filing under the EB2 National Interest Waiver NIW, whether as advanced degree holder, claiming that you have a master's degree, at least a master's degree, or you have a bachelor's degree plus at least 5 years of work experience, you are still classified under the advanced degree holder. Or if you are filing under the exceptional category where you have a bachelor's degree or a degree and you have fulfilled other criteria like holding professional membership in an organization and the likes, commanding high salary and the likes, you are still under the national interest waiver. And so the proper thing you should fill for this part 2 is 1H, which says an alien applying for a national interest waiver who is a member of the professions holding an advanced degree or an alien of exceptional ability. Take note, it should be 1H and not 1E, as someone picked, selected this, and application was rejected. 1A says a professional at a minimum possessing a bachelor's degree or a foreign degree equivalent to a US bachelor's degree. So the person that chose this actually had only a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of work experience. And so the person feel it should be 1E, even though it's under the national interest waiver. That is not true. It should still be 1H. Note not 1. The second category is if yours is the employment-based first preference, EB1A extraordinary ability, it is direct. That is 1A here that you should select, an alien of extraordinary ability. So please take note to choose or select the right option for your part 2, question 1A to 1H. In question 2A or 2B, if you are a self-petitioner and this does not apply to you, you do not need to select either of it. Don't be confused. If you are not amending a previously filed petition, there is no need to select that. And if you are not doing it for the Schedule A, Group 1 or 2 designation, and this ideally is for employers that are filing the EB2 for their employee, where they have to request for the Schedule A, labor certification and the likes. So you do not need to touch 2A or 2B. Whatever you fill in your Form I-140 is a basis of if it will be accepted or rejected, regardless of what you've written in your self-petition, or a determinant of the fee you are going to pay. Back to this question number 6. Part 1, question number 6. This particular question of selecting yes is what we now tell on the fee you will pay. And that is where applications have been rejected again. And I will come back to that towards the end of the video, talking about the asylum program fee that has been newly introduced and has been in effect since April 1st, 2024. Before we come back to that, let's go to part 3, question 10 to 15. Part 3 of Form I-140, which is on page 2 of 7, question 10 to 15. This part has also been confusing to people. If you read this, it says, if the person for whom you are filing is in the United States, provide the following information. So for those who currently reside or are present in the US and you are filing your Form I-140, then you enter the US, you have record of your date of last arrival, question 10. You have your Form I-94 arrival departure record number, question 11A. If you do not have the record number, go online on Google and type I-94. You will see the web page and you will be able to enter your details like your passport number, your name, and you will see your I-94. From that form, you will see your record number, which you can fill here. Don't leave it blank. And you will see other information. A major thing I want to draw your attention to here is question number 12, which is the passport number. Ideally, as of the last time that some persons entered the US, the passports, the identification number they use has expired. And they have since gotten maybe a new passport. And now they are like, which do I fill here? Is it the expired passport number that is recorded on my form I-94, or I should use the new passport number? It's very simple. You can do it two ways. One of the ways is, according to USCIS, even if your passport has expired, put that passport number, yeah, the expired one, in this question number 12. The advice I will give to you is that the page 7 of 7 of your form I-140, which is additional information. If you go to the additional information page, part 10, you can reference that particular page number 3 and the part number and the item number, and put, if you have supplied an expired passport number there, then put the new passport number in this question 3 of additional information. I said either ways. If you have to use the latest passport, the new passport number in that part 3, then in this additional information, include the old passport number, vice versa. You can do it either way, just to be on the good side. And that answers the doubt about that section, if you had an expired passport number or not. The next thing I want us to look at is part 6, which is very important again. Part 6, let's take a look at part 6. Basic information about the proposed employment. Again, just to recall, the major essence of this video is to take you through sections or parts of your Form I-140 or things that perhaps makes people's application to be rejected and not accepted when submitted to USCIS. That rejection doesn't mean your case when you resubmit will not be approved or will be denied, but they are saying you have not done the right thing as at this first time. So we reject this and we give you the opportunity to make correction. Part 6. Basic information about the proposed employment. So in some cases, it is much easier for self-petitioners who already are employed or they have employment offer to fill this part 6. There are self-petitioners that they are already employed. So it's easier for them to get all this information as to, for example, the wages, how much they are earning, if it's a full-time permanent position or not. For those that do not have a job offer yet, and you are a self-petitioner, the confusion comes as to, do I fill part 6 or not? Previously, we have self-petitioners that did not fill this part 6 because they do not have a job offer. And of course, that's the main reason for national interest waiver, which says you do not need a labor certification or a job offer to self-petition. And those previous set of self-petitioners that did not fill this part 6, they didn't get their application rejected. It went through successfully. Recent trends shows that some self-petitioners who did not fill this part 6, their package were returned and rejected. And so they have to refill it again. And so my advice is that consider filling this part, even if you do not have a job offer, a proposed employment, you do not have it, consider filling this part. And that's why if you look at the word proposed, so it's been proposed based on your case, the petition, your substantial merit and national importance you've written about, consider looking for the right job title that you propose to do, You can get the standard occupation classification code. If you just go to Google and you put SOC code, you will see different occupations that you can click on and see the one that aligns to you, as you can see on the screen. And the numbers you see here are the numbers that is required to fill in. So you can fish out your proposed job title and the corresponding code to fill here. So that's not a problem to get. Then the job description, you can as well fill it as a, yes, it's proposed to be a full-time job, and it's proposed to be a permanent position for question 6. It's proposed to be a new position for question 7. Again, that is for those who do not already have a job they are into. For those that have a job they are into, for question 7, it might be no. And you can also see the expected proposed wages. Again, from Google, if you just put your profession, you will be able to see from statistics of the government's website, people in that field, the amounts they make yearly, which you can also put here. So again, that answers or settles the case of do you fill part 6 or not. In summary, what I'm saying about part 6 is, as a self-petitioner for EB2 NIW or EB1A, if you do not have a job offer yet that you're doing, you can still fill this part. If you do have, it becomes easier to fill. For those of you that are also outside the US, of course, you want to come into the US to contribute significantly, do also follow the same procedure and fill in your proposed employment. And I think the last thing on this form I-140 that has recently caused people's application to be rejected is Part 8. Part 8. So let's look at Part 8, which is about signature. Part 8 on page 6 of 7, question 6A and 6B. Some self-petitioners' applications were rejected on the basis that they didn't have penned their handwritten signature in question 6A. Even when you fill your form I-140 electronically, which is easier, and I suggest, at the end of filling, try and print it out and append your handwritten signature on question 6A. And of course, put the date of signature as well. You can type that in or handwritten, that doesn't matter. But for 6A, do not sign it electronically. Append your handwritten signature. This handwritten signature, well, you can scan it, become a copy of it, doesn't matter, but it should be handwritten signature. So don't forget to, don't leave that part blank. If you leave it blank, it's also one of the reasons why applications will be rejected outrightly. So that's basically it on the form I-140. Another important thing I will now move into is the electronic notification form. Many people have many self-petitioners submit the application, and after using a third-party agent that delivers the application, for example, maybe the USPS, FedEx, UPS, DHL, as the case may be, and it has shown that the application has been delivered to the address they send it to. Many see it as being delayed, as to they are not hearing anything from USCIS to know if the application has started being reviewed or something. Now, one of the things you can do is to ensure you fill the electronic notification, which is the G1145. And if you look at the screen, just type it on Google and you will be able to download the form, which is freely available. And all you need to do, what is required, is the petitioner full last name, your first name, your middle name. The main thing here is your email address, as you can see on the screen, which you should put, and your phone number. So with your email address or your phone number, USCIS can send you a notification as to, oh, they have received your application or not. At times, it is being delayed, or, at times, even when you fill this, you do not receive any notification. Just keep expecting a mail that will be sent to the address you have included in your petition, in your form. So some cases, in the case of email, it goes into spam, your spam tab, you can go through it and ensure that you see this outrightly even before receiving the mail. So you have confidence that, oh, my application has been received. And at times, even the text message comes late, but then it's good to fill it since you are not paying extra fee for that. If your application has been rejected due to any of this and you are not hearing anything yet, well, still be patient. You will definitely receive your full package as you sent it. You will receive it back with a form, a notice of action stating why your application has been rejected. And once you see that, all you need to do is to repackage again, ensure you take note of the things you have to address. If it is the fees that is not right, or if it's part of the form you didn't fill correctly, repackage again and send it back. Having said all that, now let's look at the fees. There are previous videos where I have introduced the new fees to you, including the Form I-140, which was previously $700, the optional premium processing Form I-907, which was previously $2,500. But as of now, since April 1st, this is the fee, as you see on the screen, that is expected of a self-petitioner for the EB2 NIW or the EB1A category. And these fees, let's quickly take a look at them. And that's the Form I-140. You must pay your check or your money order, personal check, or using credit card for $715. Addressed to the proper authority, Department of Homeland Security, I-140, payment of $715. For those of you using money order, you might not, you will not have one money order that looks like a check for $715. It will be in part. Maybe, for example, one money order 500, another money order 215, or like that. Any of the combination, just make sure you address the same thing. It's for I-140, whether you're using just one or three or two different money orders. The next one is the asylum program fee, which again, since April 1st, 2024, has caused some self-petitioners' application to be rejected. We can't blame those whose application were rejected. It's because they didn't really know. And some of these cases are still in court, trying to see if this fee should be paid or not. But as of now, like I said in the previous video, taking you through why you should pay these from the credible source and the likes, please, my advice is that at any point you're filing your self-petition, go through those pages to reconfirm what is the status of this amount you are supposed to pay. As of now, you will also pay the asylum program fee, even if it's not asylum you are applying for. Yeah, that is how it is. You have to pay the $300. And that's because in your Form I-140, in Part 1, question number 6, you've selected yes, that you employ 25 or fewer employees. But again, as a self-petitioner, for those that select that yes, they will pay $300. If you select no on that form, you will pay $600. And that means you're saying that you employ 25 or more. So please take note of that. Also, if you are using money order, just put it there, asylum program fee, $300. Please take note that for the I-907 is optional. For those who want to do the premium processing to fast track the timeline of their receiving decision from USCIS, that's optional, and it's $2,805. And for that, you will fill Form I-907. For the asylum program fee, there is no form you're going to fill. The only thing you need to do is to pay the money. So, but take note, for those of you that uses credit card, you can draw all of these on the same credit card form. What's the form number again? I can't recall now. I think is it G1145? Yeah, just try and confirm that. No, not G1145. That's for electronic notification. So for those of you using credit card, there is a form you're gonna fill for your credit card, which you'll fill your credit card information, and that information will contain things like the credit card details, the owner, things like that. I haven't said all that. I think I have been able to take you through things you should avoid in order to, to have your petition goes through without being rejected or returned back to you. In summary, make sure you fill your Form I-140 correctly. Make sure you pay the appropriate fees, and I'm wishing you all the best. Again, this is Prof. Dan. If you need our expert advice or consultation, feel free to reach out to us. You will see all our available means of getting to us in the description section. Like our videos, share, and let's keep making sure that people are aware of this, and let them make use of this great opportunity to, acquire or obtain a green card of the United States or become a permanent resident. Wishing you all the best, and I'll see you again in another video. Take care and bye-bye.